Racism in the cosplay community has to stop. Welcome to my channel. My name is Fenix. For those of you who are new to my channel, thank you for coming, and hang on because we're going to go through a pretty uncomfortable topic, but I promise you if you stick through the end, we'll all come out of this stronger because we have to face the facts and address racism within the cosplay industry. There have been so many movements and different attempts to address the issue that the more we talk about it, the more momentum it will gain until we can finally come together and have more empathy towards one another so that way everyone feels loved and accepted within our community. When it comes down to racism for Black cosplayers being ignored by photographers or overlooked, that's not acceptable. If you have an issue with taking photos of someone because of their skin color, you don't need to go to a cosplay con as a photographer. Stay home. And make space for other people that will not discriminate. Or take a moment to have a long inner monologue with yourself and find room in your heart to love other people for who and what they are, even if they are different from you. Moving on to address Assist Wigs, their recent post releasing a product for darkening someone's skin so that way they can portray a character, the character in question, even though he was a lion, they decided to use a brown tan skin tone that looked more like a Black person or a person of color skin tone. That has to stop. While we understand that they're trying to say it's the character, you also understand you're making profit off of a product that makes people feel uncomfortable within the cosplay community, and just saying sorry, we didn't know, we didn't mean any offense doesn't cut it. Every company that gets called out for racism, for blackface, or for marketing a product that causes controversy, the first thing they want to do is say sorry, we didn't know. No, you know. Japan has no excuse. Japan's last minstrel show was in 2018 because of a petition that started by a journalist. And I remember signing that petition and passing it around. Japan has a racist history. However, I will give them their kudos because they are doing marches for the Black Lives Matters movement currently. And that is so warmly received. In fact, that touched my heart. I know so many biracial children in Japan because I worked with Afro kids and I know their struggle. I definitely had to walk days in their shoes where people accused me of being a half-breed and said other derogatory remarks to me because they assumed I was half Japanese and something else. No one should have to go through that. And even when it came down to cosplay, I was doing an interview and they had it, they're recording, which is like the worst thing you want to have is an interview where they're recording and you don't get to edit that footage afterwards. And the issue of race came up and they asked, how did this affect me? Well, first, I am the only Black cosplayer with this cosplay agency, so that's one thing. And the only other Black cosplayer that I know that works professionally, he's from Canada, and he tends to stay away from a lot of racial issues, and that's him. That's what his platform is. Do you? I'm not knocking anybody for their choices. When it comes to me, I have to use my voice because I know that my presence in the cosplay community makes other people feel accepted in the cosplay community. And so I have an obligation to speak up for people that cannot voice what they're feeling or do not voice what they're feeling because of their own circumstances. Anyone with a following in the cosplay community, whether it's 5 or 5,000 people, we all have a responsibility to talk to our followers, to talk to our fans, and to make sure that they know that we don't accept racism, to tell them to curb it. Don't post those comments. Don't go after other cosplayers and post negative comments or derogatory comments on their photos. that's the bare minimum that we all can do. Because it's going to take all of us to come together to stop racism within the cosplay community. Some people feel that blackface is not a thing in the cosplay community. You can feel that way, however, it is. Anytime that you are doing something that has a racist history, it's not acceptable. You can't cosplay a character and say, this character is black, I love this character, therefore I'm going to paint myself in blackface to show love for this character, when blackface would hurt the character that you're portraying because it hurts their people. That's not love. That is being selfish, and that is being conceited, and that is called using your privilege. It has to stop. Colorism in the cosplay community is also real, and it affects a lot of people in different ways. When I first had to embrace the term cosplayer being connected to who I am and to what I do, I was not embracive. I was like, eek, I don't want this. What are you talking about? Don't call me no cosplayer. I am a costume designer. Looking back, I feel pretty bad that I had that type of mentality. And God had a way to get the message through to me that even though, in my opinion, what I was doing wasn't that big of a deal to me, it mattered to other people. And he got this through to me loud and clear. I met a girl in Akihabara from Brazil, and she came up to me trembling and shaking, and just, she looked like she was in so much pain as she finally mustered up the strength to ask me this question. She said, "Do you consider yourself a cosplayer?" She paused, and then she continued before I could respond to her question. "Because of the color of your skin, do you think that it's okay to cosplay characters that are not dark?" I stood up and I looked her in the eyes and I told her, I'm a professional cosplayer in Japan, and in fact, your skin color doesn't matter. You can cosplay any and everyone. You don't have to paint your skin lighter or darker for cosplay. That's not what cosplay is about. Cosplay is about sharing your love for a character. We cosplay because we love it. And when we do things out of love, there's no room to do things that hurts other people.